Good morning. My name's Ryan. What's your name?
Sean.
Great. It's really nice to meet you guys. We're so excited to be here. We were able to come visit. My name's Ryan, and I'm actually here with my boss, Donovan. That's the CEO and founder of the company, so I better get this right. In short, we're just really stoked that there's this type of community in Pasadena, and when we have the chance to participate, we're just so excited to dive in and build this community together. So thank you so much for having us. And I do want to talk a little bit sort of about our story and our product, great, but again, mostly I want to talk about what are those experiences that I'm sure that we're all sharing, and how can we think through those together? How can we innovate together? How can we become a culture of creativity that has the capacity to do significant things, even though we're off here in Pasadena? And the rest of the world might not think this is where it's at, but I think we have the opportunity to do something truly remarkable here in this city. So 17 Hats actually began with a love story. Our founder, Donovan, his wife was a professional photographer. And she had been a teacher for years and had been frustrated with the system and wanted to jump off and do her own thing. I think so many of us understand that. And so she did it. She had a gift, she had a passion, something she loved, and she turned it into her business. She started doing weddings, she started doing portrait sessions, and the best thing was, she was successful. She got clients, she got more business, she got referrals, she made it past the breaking point. But, as I'm sure many of you have experienced, the more successful she became, the worse it got. And we laugh, but we know it. We know the tension of like, oh, yeah, I can do this 40 or 50 hours a week. Yeah, right. And soon it wasn't just about taking pictures. It was that she was spending hours upon hours every day. And with every new client, it wasn't just taking photographs. It was the invoicing, it was the management, it was the constant communication, the deluge of emails and phone calls, and she couldn't keep up. And worst of all, it was robbing her of her joy because she got into this to be a photographer and do something she loved. And being stressed out and being overworked, she did what any photographer would do. She asked her husband for help. And he, being a programmer, said, well, I could just write a script for this. And that's our company. And so Donovan created then what really he honestly did from there, created the script, and that was the roots of 17 Hats. Because Allison's not a unique story. In fact, every day, there are 20,000 people who start a business. 92% of those, roughly speaking, are businesses of one. They're these people who have a dream and they're stepping out and they're trying to do something significant. And as he saw with his wife, there was an app for everything they needed, and that was a problem. There were 5 or 6 different services she was going to, chasing down each new thing, but each thing was a different login, a different data entry point, a different thing that she forgot, and it didn't help. It made it worse. And the chaos just became greater. And again, all the while, robbing her of her joy, yes, also keeping her from being a successful business person and from experiencing the satisfaction and the results that she wanted. So, 17 Hats, the whole idea was to put everything in one place for these people. And it's, again, we work with largely people who are the freelancers, the solo entrepreneurs, these businesses of 1 to 5 who are providing a service. So anybody who's going to be invoicing a client. And now they have one place where they can go, where it's their lead management, their lead capture tool that automatically comes into a system that helps them capture and organize those leads. It puts them into life cycles so they can see how that lead is growing and how they're building that relationship. And then when they get the client, they don't have to do the same thing twice. We give them templates. I mean, I'm amazed by the number of people we show the product to, and we're all in the tech space. And so we're looking at things that are often very, very high end. And like often the wow moment when we talk to people is like, oh yeah, and you can make an email template. And they're just, get out. And we don't think about it as a significant thing, but for them it is. And we're changing the way that they're able to do this. We're giving them workflows. So those 40 or 50 things that they're doing for every single client, from the welcome email to their first questionnaire to automating proposals, contracts, invoices, invoice payment reminders. All of those things are already built in. And they're not trying to manage 40 or 50 things when inevitably something falls through the cracks and taking what is a good relationship into a bad one. And so we want to be there from getting the client to getting the contract signed, getting the invoice paid, to even having their bookkeeping all in one place, and it's working for them, not against them. And it's made to be smart, it's made to automate. So it's like, even like the bookkeeping, for example, is learning and tracking what are their expenses and helping them categorize that. So at the end of the year, their bookkeeper gives them a high five and a hug, instead of the look of shame of, oh gosh. And all this goes back to giving them their joy back, giving them their life back, which is, I think, something we can all agree that's, you can't put a price on that. It's fantastic. To share a quick story, just how good this works, this is actually a picture from one of our users. Her name is Hannah Marie. She was a photographer. And so she had our system set up, and one day she went to the hotel at her pool, saw that she had somebody who was interested in signing up with her, hit yeah, I'd like to do that, click that on her phone, jumped into the pool, came back 15 minutes later, and in that 15 minutes of being in the pool, the client had been sent a proposal, had clicked the things they wanted on the proposal, had been sent a contract, which they e-signed, which then sent them an invoice, which they paid. And so by the time she got out of the pool, what is normally weeks worth of work and communication and different drafts and copying a PDF, the PDF's wrong, it doesn't work, I don't know how to sign a PDF, all those different things, it was done. And the stress on both sides totally dissolved. And the end result being a great experience, not just for her, but for her customers. And that's kind of what we're after. And we're here at the end of year one. We've been commercially available for a year now, so that's fantastic. Happy birthday to us. And in year one, yeah, thank you. There you go. And in year one, we've enjoyed a lot of success. We now have 11,000 paying subscribers, people who are totally loyal to the product with a fantastic, almost negligent decay rate. We just raised a $4 million Series A, and we've grown to 19 full-time employees. So it's been a great year, but here's the problem. We have a great product. And I know that doesn't sound like a problem, but if I were to go around this room, I'm willing to bet that all of us would say, we have a great product. And here's the danger with that. I want to share a quick story with you that's going to, it might seem unrelated, but I think it's pertinent to this group and what's possible here. I didn't get my start in the for-profit startup world. I actually got my start doing nonprofit stuff. When I was a freshman in college, I heard about the water crisis, and me and a few of my friends decided, yeah, we'll take that on. Sure, why not? So we went to Africa, and we dove in, and we found out that 1.2 billion people lacked access to clean water. Contaminated water is responsible for 60% of this world's disease burden. 443 million days of school missed every year. Just the economic loss of time spent walking to get water, period, is more than all the charitable contributions of any kind given to Africa every year. It's a tremendous challenge. And so we visited, and we hung out with these people. We got to learn their names. This last boy, that's Eden. He was really cool. And Eden loves soccer. He's really good at math, and his favorite artist is Beyonce. But this is his water. It was so dirty when we scooped it up in our hands, we couldn't see our palms. So what we were able to do is go back. We raised money. We put in a clean water well, just 90 feet underground, 150 yards away from that hole. There was clean water. And for less than $1 per person per year, we were able to bring clean water to his village. Pretty awesome. Yeah. Here's the problem. That's a great thing. That's not bad. But if I'm going to be really honest, that well is going to break. As all things do, it's going to wear out. It's going to fail at some point. And in fact, in the water world, what you don't often hear on the commercials or on the web adverts is that 60% of projects like this fail in the first 3 to 5 years, at least. And honestly, the number's probably a lot worse. And it's not that it's a bad thing to do, but I don't think we're really getting to the heart of it. You see, because it wasn't ever really about the project. It wasn't ever really about the product. It was about the people who were there. And it was about creating a relationship. So I would be remiss in Africa, here at the bedrock of they're just building their economy. I'd be remiss if I said this won't work unless we create a system around it, unless we create a culture around it, unless we create a community around it, because water isn't about a commodity, it's about a community. And for us, I think it's the same thing. What we're doing at 17 Hats isn't just about our product, it's about the people who use it. You are most likely not about really your product, you're about the people who use it. And it's tricky because we get sold into this idea of we need to sell the value of our product, and we can often forget about the people, and I think that's our challenge right now at 17 Hats. This is called code theory. And if you've never heard this before, if you haven't watched Mad Men, you should, but if you haven't watched Mad Men, this was created by people who wanted to understand communication, and then how do we break it down into an equation so we can tweak the equation to get new results. And really quick, so in code theory, a sender creates a message, sends that message through a medium, so like it could be Twitter, Facebook, phone calls, TV adverts, etc. And then people hear it in their own filters, so they have a different context to go to a different audience. And it allowed people to tweak their message so they could drive behavior. But we all know, I think deep down we know that's not what's really going on. There's more going on there. This is a transaction. And this is only part of the picture. I mean, a truer picture is that all these things are happening, but deep down I think we know they need to happen, and they happen best within the larger picture of a relationship. But we're companies. And we do have a product and we have to sell. So how do we manage this? How do we grow relationship? How do we grow community? And I think that's why I'm really excited to be in Pasadena. We were talking, I was talking with John and Donovan. John, where are you?
Right here.
Oh, hey, thanks, John. We were talking just before now, and he was asking why am I excited to be in Pasadena. I just moved here from Oklahoma City in October. Oklahoma. Hey, at least Thunder's doing great. But, was that sore subject for you guys? Sorry. But I came here because I think this is a place similar to Oklahoma City, similar to so many countries in Africa where we have the potential to grow something. It's not an overcrowded space where somebody's already come in and you have to have somebody in the top pull you up. We can build a family. We can decide how we're going to create this city, create these companies, and with that we can change the world. And that is why I'm excited to be here, because we have a blank canvas. And we can make anything we want, and all we really have to do is come together and say, what is that picture that we are trying to paint? What is going to be our greater story, our greater community? Because I think that's powerful. And I think that's powerful because, again, and we all know it, because metrics are misleading. This is a graphic my girlfriend made. I'm going to walk you through it. It's when I went to grad school. She knows at the start of grad school, I was in shape. And then for every 4.0 I got, I tend to gain 4 pounds. And so I was doing statistics research, and I was talking to her about statistics, and to punish me, she made this to show that, well, there seems to be a correlation here, Ryan. And of course, we all know I can't then reverse the equation and gain 4 pounds to get a 4.0. We know that, but it can often look that way. And correlation doesn't often equal causality, yet we still allow metrics to drive our companies. And this is dangerous. I see a lot of my MBA friends struggle with this their first couple years of school, and of course many of us, we struggle with it too. We have a world where metrics and data are now readily available to us. And it's like looking at the dashboard of a car, and we have found ways to increase the speed, increase the power of the car, increase the efficiency of the car, and then we run right into a wall because we were looking at the dashboard. And the car works best when you're looking at the dashboard, but you're also looking through the windshield. And the car has a greater purpose than the metrics on the dash. It's meant to get us somewhere. It's meant to take us somewhere greater. And so what do I think Pasadena can be known for? I think we can be known as a place where we do business differently, where we do business in relationship, we do business in community. It's not that believe me, we will be data-driven, and we will understand that, but we will understand that data underneath the larger picture of the relationship we have with the people we work with, our customers, all of our stakeholders, and of course the community at large. I think for 17 Hats moving forward, why is the product our problem? Because it's really, really great. I love the product. But it's not the whole picture. And I think the product is made even better. And I know it's going to sell even better when we remember that it's not about the product. It's about the people who use it. And so here's our vision. We want to create a world where anyone with passion, ideas, and ambition will never be held back by the barriers of running a business. We want to make a world where anybody, like Donovan's wife, who has that passion, has those ideas, she has the tools she needs, she has the knowledge she needs, the advice she needs, she has the community she needs to make that vision become a reality. I'm sure that everybody in here has a greater vision for the company. And I would want to suggest that that becomes something that we cherish, that becomes something that we remember as we go through the week, as we sit in our meetings, that we take all these metrics into account, that we hold them accountable to their larger picture of relationship, and that through that, I think we're going to be able to build a one-of-a-kind community that can do incredible things, launch any business, I mean, almost. We'll launch any business, but anything we set our minds to, we can go and create. And I think that's what's so special about Innovate Pasadena and why we're excited to be here. So we live right next door. We are bought into the neighborhood. we're on the 9th floor, and we're up there every day from, well, Donovan's gonna get there early. And we're up there every day from sometime in the morning to way late at night. And we're loving every second of it. We're having a blast. We have an incredible team, incredible family, and this is how we've come together. So we would love to be able to hang out. We'd love to be able to tell more success stories like this of people getting their lives back. And of course, we would love to partner because, again, all this works in relationship and in community. We all know that to be true. That's why we're here. So guys, thank you so much for sharing your time with me.
Thank you so much for sharing that really passionate presentation about what you do and your impact on businesses locally and also, the philanthropic goals abroad. I think you guys are really doing a valiant thing. We're going to field a 10-15 minute Q&A. So if you guys have questions, remember to keep comments to the side. You'll be sticking around for a little while. People want to share stories with you. Cool. Or more detailed questions. John, walk around with the mic. You know the format. Hi, Ryan.
Hi.
Yeah, thanks for that presentation, and I really enjoyed that analogy you had of a blank canvas, and all of us being sort of like collaborative artists in putting this new picture together. I was just wondering, on the product side, is it industry specific? Do you have different nodes or modules for different sorts of industries? Because I run a law practice, and I was a solo practitioner. Now I have 2 partners, and we're growing, and we're trying to get our process and procedures in place. But it's this one-size-fits-all sort of solution we found doesn't always work. So,
oh, absolutely. So, excellent question, and thank you. So with our product, we don't have a certain node like welcome to 17 Hats. Are you a photographer? Click here. We don't have that yet. What we do have though is a product that's fully customizable. We want it to have all the base parts, like here's the toolkit, everything you need, and you can tweak it to make it work. So the templates, you can create those. The workflows, all those different things you're doing for the customer, you can match those to be perfect for the experience you want to have and your customers want to have. So while it is not industry specific, we sort of have 3 verticals. We're working with people who are creative professionals, freelancers and the like. We're working with people who are in the event space, photographers, videographers, florists. We have a clown. We also have a lady who runs a group, which is really cool. But then of course we have the business service people. We have consultants, accountants, lawyers who use our product and are able to do so very, very well. Because I think all of us, again, we have so many of those steps that we wish could be taken care of and organized and off our plate. So we're able to go do what we're good at, and again, what makes you money. So that's all.
Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you so much. I love your passion. And I agree, Pasadena is a blank canvas. If you have QuickBooks and you have all these CRMs, like Zillow or whatever it is out there, does this put it all in one spot and I can get rid of all of that stuff? Said lovingly. There's another word there.
No, the short answer is absolutely. We have a way to import data from a lot of different things. So if you have a contact list somewhere, there's going to be a way to put that in. With QuickBooks specifically, wow, that's, oof. Yeah, might need to help me out here. But we actually do have an integration with QuickBooks. So while we have an excellent bookkeeping system, with our bookkeeping, with a lot of these things, again, the goal here isn't to have crazy depth into everything that each little feature can do, but it's designed to be actually usable and helpful. So we do have an integration with QuickBooks Online that is coming out next week. So there you go. So you'll be able to plug that in, and so when you have an invoice show up in one account, it will also show up there.
Okay,
So
so
there you
it'll
go.
parallel?
If you want to keep QuickBooks, it will parallel with QuickBooks. If you want to get rid of QuickBooks, you can.
Sorry, go ahead, Stan. Yeah, so if you want to keep using QuickBooks because your bookkeeper is still living in the old ages, or the dark ages, you can definitely do so. But also, if you just want to get rid of QuickBooks, yay, improve your life, you can use your own bookkeeping section, which is included.
Because I'm an event planner, so I mean, I'm in that creative space. I get it.
Oh yeah, from the top. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your presentation and again for your passion. It's wonderful to see that and to hear that. So my question actually is twofold. First of all, even though I own a tech company, I am the financial and business side. I am not a techie at all. Like, I give my computer over to my husband and have him fix it for me, right? Or my
Yeah.
business partners. So my question is, there's so many tools out there that they say it's fully customizable, it's easy, and it's not. You get in there and you start tweaking things and working with things, and it takes days to set things up. How is yours different? Please tell me it is.
No, that's an excellent question, and I think we see that again. Why that transaction breaks down for people is when companies started not being honest. And not being fully honest because they were after the behavior and not actually the person. So what we're trying really hard to do is, I mean, we've got to have a healthy relationship with our customers. So for us, first of all, I'll say we're absolutely different. And we have people who can get set up quickly, easily, I mean, a matter of a few hours instead of a matter of months. And if you want help to set up even faster, we have people that you can click a button to hire them, and it's pretty much money that just extends your account time, and they will walk with you to set up the account. We're about to roll out even more services that put you in touch with an actual person who cares about you, who is on your case, and is going to walk through it with you. One of the things that has allowed us to own the market, example in the photography space, we're the leader by far. We have great traction in a very picky marketplace. And one reason for that has been the customer service. It's been the relationship. We have an amazing team who, if you reach out to us, we're going to get back to you, we're going to be helping you, and we're going to try and make things happen. So first of all, we have a fantastic product. It works, and I think that could be helpful. Second of all, we have people there who are there to help you. And finally, there are systems so when something does break, we're going to be there to catch you if you fall. And so that's the idea. Yeah.
So the second part of that question is, I have a hardware company. How does this work for hardware, and does it work for hardware?
Right now, the system is sort of specifically built for people who are invoicing a client. We had to make a few hard decisions, and I think that's one of them. So if you're invoicing a client, and if you have that sort of relationship, great. If you're moving retail, we're not set up for that yet. So maybe in the future that will become something we have, but right now, that's what we're doing. So.
Over here.
Hi, morning. Thanks, Ryan. Question. This is a parallel entrepreneur question, not like I want to use your product question. So we have a company, and I would say very similarly, we care tremendously about what our customer needs to get done, what their life's about, how we can make it better. And a big part of our success so far has been like we're totally on board with them. We hold their hands, we make sure they're taken care of, we get them successful. And we're growing 20% month over month. So question is, at what point does that break? You know, you guys obviously have turned a couple of corners, sounds like, inflection points that we haven't gone through yet. What was your experience with that, and you know, kind of what are the things of a very support-intensive model that you've learned?
First of all, I don't want to say that we're the experts. We are actively figuring it out. And I say, like, this is our problem. We are wanting to be transparent and saying, like, we are trying to get back to what works because we had a lot of success, which made us focus on, oh, well, the success must be because of all of our great product features. And I think we've had to pivot back to say, oh man, that's not what worked. What worked was if somebody loved it. And like, we randomly brought up one of our customers the other day because we're looking at, like, oh, what's referral rates? And we had a woman who had referred over 200 paying accounts from a blog she had because she loved the product and believed in it and spread it. And so you could pick out a handful of our customers, and it was a percentage of our business. And there was an organic, like, authentic response they had, and that's what made it so powerful in the marketplace. And yeah, our challenge is figuring out how do we set up systems that allow that sort of organic growth to scale. So I don't have a specific answer just yet. We're figuring it out. So we should all get together and figure that out. That's why we're here. I will say this, that the tension between mechanistic and organistic growth. I came from Kansas. I'm a Kansas farm boy originally. And my dad used to grow, when he was a little boy, he won the blue ribbon for the biggest tomato at the state fair. And it's a goofy story, but a tomato plant's really interesting in the way that we've bred them. A tomato plant on its own will no longer grow naturally. We've made the fruit to the point where it's so heavy, the plant will fall over and die. It'll suffocate on itself. So you have to give it structure. If you give it too much structure, of course it won't be able to grow, but you've got to give it some sort of strong structure, some sort of system to allow for organic growth. And I think that's what we're exploring right now, is what are those systems that allow for and encourage that type of organic growth. I mean, there is a hard science to it on some points. So we can't control the natural authentic response, but we can create the space for it, and we can cultivate that, is our abstract, obtuse answer. So there you go.
Back here?
Yeah.
So, firstly, I wanted to come up there and smack you. Where the hell were you 45 years ago? It's all the problems we went through. But secondly, I just love the idea of the honesty of the product, honesty in being able to say to this lady, you're not yet 100% up to speed in the hardware business and that. And I think that should be encouraged in so many ways. And then thirdly, how does somebody in Asheville, North Carolina, help to, because I have so many young entrepreneurs that I'm trying to mentor, and this would fit the bill so well for them. How's best to go about doing that? We're an old guy who doesn't understand how to do that.
Are we talking about just sending them a link, or?
I'm not sure. I'm asking you.
Oh, of course. First of all, I mean, sure. If you want to, of course, you can always send them the link, and the page walks through a little bit of the story. But secondly, to speak for my generation, I think I'm one of the younger people here, and that's remarkable for a startup event. I thought coming to the West Coast, it would be lots of people in zip hoodies and chucks, and I come to Pasadena. That is not the case, and that's been incredibly encouraging to me because my generation needs to see that. We have a lot of problems in our world. We have a lot of political problems, social problems, economic problems, and we have got to rediscover that the foundation of our society is that if we don't like something about the way the world is, that is the foundation of capitalism. It was when somebody had a need, and you had a way to fulfill that need, and they could help you out as well. That was the foundation of a free market system, is that we didn't need somebody up here, we could help each other. And my generation needs to rediscover that, man, if we have those ideas, those need to be the bread and butter of how we shape the world. And we need to find an economic, business-driven solution to that, because that, again, it was all about helping each other. So the short answer is, man, if you have somebody who is doing a service business, who you feel like has a great idea, and all the business end of running that day, all the business management end, that's a struggle, and that business is a four-letter word to them, we can help them. On the other side, the inspirational aspect is, I think where you guys could come in is, my generation needs to see this. They need to see that there are people out there who are older, who are actively searching for solutions. This is, so the millennials, so to speak, were the most entrepreneurial generation since the 1950s until the last couple of years, where people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s are now more than, their entrepreneur rates have more than doubled what they are in the younger generation. And so we've got to make a connection between there. So again, the product's great, we'd be glad to help out, but mostly I think it's that vision. If we can share that, we can do a lot.
I think we have time for one more question. Does anybody have any?
Hi, thanks again. I think one point that we should all take to heart is something that he brought up along the lines of community. And as a group here in Pasadena, that I'm also from Pasadena as well, and find this very invigorating. But I think he brought up a very good point along the lines of what can we do, how can we improve the effectiveness of, let's call it, the Innovate Pasadena contingency here. In other words, I'm sure there's 3 or 4 people here that have something that I could use tomorrow if I knew about it. But how am I going to know about that unless, I meet 1, 2, 3, 4 guys here at a time? Maybe next December I'll meet that 4th guy, There seems to be something that we can add to this that other local communities and tech startup areas. I've been used to going down to Santa Monica, and I don't see it there either. But I think here we might be in a unique situation to put together some kind of structural implementation of a way to better communicate between all of us to find out what we're doing and how we're doing it and how we can help each other along those lines as well. I know that's very broad, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's a great comment in general. I think Innovate Pasadena is really trying to help do that by having events like this and whatnot. But did you have a specific question for Ryan? No? Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. We really appreciate that.
I could show you how.
Yeah, if you want to answer that.
Okay, so again, code theory, transaction breaks down. We know there's something larger. It's all this happens underneath the guy's relationship. So how do we become a community that does exactly that? I would say this. So we have that whole idea of relationship and all communication happening therein. The world has only ever been changed by small groups of people in committed relationship, bar none. Every single science that my master's wasn't just in social entrepreneurship, it was actually social entrepreneurship and change. And we studied how do we make change happen in a positive way. So if you want to study that and looking back, so how can this group right here take over the world, help each other? And it goes down to, you don't have to believe in the guy. This isn't a religious statement, but anybody from Jesus to the Rotary Club to a secret society at Yale, they operate the exact same way. It's first, no matter who you are, you belong. Sinner, saint, anybody. You belong. Welcome to the family. That provides for a change of heart. A change of heart provides for a change of belief. A change of belief provides for a change of behavior. So if we want to grow the authentic space, really the core heart of it across human history for real change, not just an abstraction, has been belonging leads to a change of heart, which leads to the behavior that changes the world. So if we want to have that, I think if we are radical at creating a spirit of belonging within this group, that gives us the soil, so to speak, to grow that type of system where we do know where are the congruent systems, the concurrent circles where we can be useful to one another, and those systems are in place which allows for that rapid organic growth. So, cool, there you go.
Absolutely. Thanks for handling that.